Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into some song lyrics, and let me tell you, these aren't your typical top 40 hits. We're talking about faith, doubt, those big questions about meaning, especially when the world feels, well, maybe a little chaotic.
Yeah, and these lyrics, they don't hold back. They hit you right in the gut with raw emotion, really digging deep into the human experience.
All right, so one song, The Road Back Home, that one really grabbed me.
I'm all round and round, chasing pleasures everywhere. On TikTok, Snapchat, I'm always there. I'm all around and round, trying to get you noticed that I am here.
The line about spinning in a digital haze, searching for a familiar face, man, it's like, haven't we all felt that? Lost in the online world?
It's like we're surrounded by connections, but still feeling disconnected.
Not real.
A real paradox, right? Like yearning for something real, something genuine in a sea of profile.
And that yearning, that's what leads to those lines about craving peace and a way back home. And makes you think, like, in this always-on world, have we lost sight of what home even means anymore? How do we find our way back?
And that's where it gets interesting. The lyrics, they don't leave us hanging. There's this shift, subtle, but it's there. It's like the road back home. It becomes about more than just a physical place. It's about faith.
Yeah.
About finding that inner peace.
Okay, and then there's this whole idea of paradise, right? But again, not the paradise we usually picture. The song, What is Paradise?
I've heard of streets of gold, a place where sorrow ends. But what will we do, Lord, when eternity begins? Will I find the freedom my heart has longed to know? Or is paradise a mystery we were not meant to show?
It questions those traditional images. Is it really streets of gold and endless song, or is it something more?
The song dives deep into that question. You've got freedom, joy, fearlessness. These are things that even streets of gold can't really satisfy, right? It's like paradise becomes more of an internal state, a way of being, not just a physical destination.
Makes you think, what would make eternity meaningful, not just for, eternity, but for you personally? The gold streets or something deeper, more about your spirit,
That's a question we should all ask ourselves, definitely. And speaking of deep questions, from paradise, these lyrics take us to a much darker place, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, they do. Is this hell?
This world, shadows all around, lies and pain, they're the only sounds. Is this a life I was meant to see, or is it just a twisted reality? Is there a chance of that unknown, or am I forever bound to roam? Is this the hell I've always feared, where every hope has disappeared? If this is life, then where's the light?
That one, it doesn't mess around. It's raw, painful even, with lines like, shadows dance upon the wall, whispering lies that bind us all.
Whoa, yeah, the imagery there. Heavy stuff. And then there's pain, like endless rain, that feeling of being stuck in the suffering, no escape. But even in that darkness, there's a flicker, something else.
You're right, there's a glimmer of hope in there, even if it's faint. There's a fleeting light and a desire for a journey where I'll find my heart. Even in that darkness, it seems like the human spirit, it never stops searching for meaning, for connection.
And that's what makes these lyrics so powerful. They don't shy away from the hard stuff, the pain, but they also remind us that even in those dark places, there's a part of us deep down that's still reaching for the light, for healing, for a way back to ourselves.
It makes me think about something else we noticed. Several of these songs, like Prayer for the Lonely, they seem to lean on faith. Specifically prayer, as a way to find strength, comfort when things are tough.
Yeah, totally. It's like when faced with all the darkness, the songwriter turns to something bigger than themselves, looking for guidance. There's a line about, on bended knee, my soul takes flight, searching for a guiding light. It really captures that feeling.
Prayer for the Lonely really got to me.
I hear the echo of my sighs, the weight of empty evenings as the sun says its goodbyes. I walk these streets alone, searching for
That line, "In the depths of my despair, I reach for you. Are you even there?" Man, so much vulnerability in just a few words.
Right? That feeling of questioning, it's so relatable. When you're lost and alone, it's natural to wonder if anyone or anything is really out there listening. It speaks to that basic human need for connection, not just with each other, but with something beyond ourselves, something bigger. And sometimes that connection is not just about asking for help, right? Like in thank you. It feels more about appreciating what you do have. Even when things are tough, there's that gratitude.
Yeah, it's like a shift in thinking. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you start noticing the good stuff. It's like a good reminder that even on those bad days, there's always something to be grateful for.
Exactly. And with that gratitude, there's this desire to grow, to become better, like in a better me, surrendering to something bigger, asking for guidance to change, to transform.
Yeah, it's about owning your flaws, right? And trying to, I don't know, become a better version of yourself. There's a line, "Lead me to the light within, where broken pieces start to
world
mend."
has turned me down in so many ways. I almost drowned. I've loved and lost. My soul has paid the cost. You raised me up so I can walk tall. You raised me up to see it all. I lay my life in your hands. Take control. You give me back my long lost soul.
It's like real growth. It often starts by facing those broken parts of ourselves and then, I guess, looking for a way to heal.
And sometimes becoming that better me, it means facing those past mistakes.
Yeah.
Seeking forgiveness and believing in second chances. It's a big theme in songs like I Do Believe and Second Chance.
It's so universal, right? I mean, who hasn't made a choice they wish they could take back? But in these lyrics, it's more than just wishing. It's like a second chance. It's about a turning point. You make a choice to live differently, with faith as your guide.
With trembling hands, I reach for grace, hoping for a second chance to see your face.
That's vulnerability right there, wouldn't you say? Asking for redemption. Totally. It's about admitting we're not perfect, we mess up, but we can still try to be better, to make things right. And then there's Jesus, my Savior. It's like taking that idea of redemption further, finding strength and faith when things are tough.
It's interesting, though, how the songwriter balances that with doubt.
Hmm.
Like having faith isn't always easy, not always a straight line.
Which brings us to questions left unanswered and struggling faith.
Shadows, looking for the light, praying in the stillness, trying to get it right. Heart full of questions, mind full of care. Faith feels like a whisper. Is it really there?
Those songs, man, they get real about doubt and they don't pretend it's easy. One line that stuck with me, "My faith feels like a whisper lost in the roar of the world."
Yeah, searching for a sign when that doubt creeps in. That's relatable, for sure. But even with the struggle, the lyrics never completely abandon faith, do they?
You're right, it's like this persistent search. There's a line in struggling faith, walking in the shadows, looking for the light. It's like even when doubt is there, the desire for faith, for that light, it's still there, flickering.
And that need for comfort, for something to hold on to, it connects back to escape to Jesus, right? That repetition, I steal away to Jesus. It's about seeking refuge, finding a safe place in the middle of all the
When
chaos.
I feel low and down, I steal away to Jesus. When I fall apart in my soul, I steal away to Jesus. Jesus.
It's like, say, when the world's too much, I find peace in my faith. It reminds me of how the road back home talked about home as something more than a place, something spiritual.
Yeah, there's definitely a parallel there. It's like true peace is not about external stuff, but that connection with something bigger, something beyond ourselves.
And that connection, it can be different for everyone, right? It's not about following a set of rules, but finding what brings you peace, what feeds your soul.
Exactly. It's personal. It's that inner dialogue, that relationship with faith that gets you through the tough times.
And those tough times, man, these lyrics don't sugarcoat it. Is this hell? That song takes us right into the darkness, the suffering. It's intense.
The imagery, it's heavy, powerful. Lost in endless night, searching for a ray of light. You feel that, the feeling of being totally lost, drowning in despair.
It's heavy stuff, for sure. But even in that darkness, there's this glimmer, this resilience. It's like saying, yeah, life can be brutal, but even then, we can still choose to look for the light.
And that search for the light, it often brings us back to prayer, like we were talking about before. Prayer for the lonely,
Mm.
especially, it highlights how important it is to reach out, not just to something bigger, but to each other for support.
Right, like we're not meant to go through this alone. There's strength in admitting you need help and finding comfort in each other.
And sometimes, finding that strength means dealing with those past mistakes, owning up to them, seeking forgiveness, making things right.
It's about recognizing the harm you've caused to yourself, to others, and then taking responsibility and forgiving yourself. That takes courage.
It's like the songwriter saying true paradise. It's not a physical place, but a state of being. Finding peace, wholeness through love, forgiveness, compassion.
That's a beautiful way to put it, and it's something we need to hear, especially now when things feel so divided.
These lyrics remind us we all have that capacity for both, the darkness and the light, the hurting and the healing.
And in the end, it's our choices that determine which path we walk.
It's true. And sometimes the bravest choice is choosing love over fear, forgiveness over resentment, hope over despair. And remembering that we're not alone in making those choices. We have each other and something larger than ourselves to guide us, however we understand that.
It's like these songs create a space for these conversations, right? To wrestle with these big questions and to realize we're not alone in this human experience.
That's what art does, right? It reflects us back to ourselves, makes us feel seen, heard, reminds us we're not alone in our joy, our pain, our search for meaning.
It's like holding up a mirror to our souls. It's an invitation to look inward and to accept who we are, the whole messy, beautiful package.
And maybe in that reflection, we catch a glimpse of something bigger, something divine, a spark of hope, a renewed sense of purpose. And maybe in that reflection, we find a little bit of hope, a sense of wonder, a feeling that things can be different.
It's what makes these lyrics so powerful, so relatable. They stay with you.
It's that honesty, that raw emotion that makes them connect with people no matter what, across time, across cultures.
They capture that human need for connection, for meaning, for belonging, right? Especially in a world that can feel kind of cold sometimes.
And they remind us, even in those dark times, when you're doubting everything, when fear takes over, there's always hope, always.
And sometimes finding that hope, it's about going back to yourself, to your roots, to a place of love.
You see that in the lyrics a lot, right? That journey back, the road back home, wanting that peace, that feeling of belonging, Paradise Road, the imagery of returning to the Father's home.
I see a place where I used to be at peace. Now let me know, now I need to find this place just to calm my mind at ease. Show me how I used to have it all. I know.
And a second chance, it's all about redemption, about starting over.
It's like these songs, they're giving us a map, a way to navigate life, faith, all the complicated stuff.
And they remind us it's okay to ask for directions along the way, right? Prayer for the lonely, thank you, a better me. They all talk about reaching out to something bigger, to each other, for help, for guidance.
We're not meant to do this alone. There's comfort in knowing that, in being there for each other.
And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit you need help, that you don't have all the answers.
It's in those moments when you let yourself be seen with all your flaws, that's when real connection, real healing can happen.
And isn't that what these lyrics give us? A place to be vulnerable, to ask the big questions without judgment. A reminder that we're in this together.
They tell us it's okay to doubt, to question, to struggle.
Because when you wrestle with your faith, when everything's shaken up, that's when you come out stronger. If you liked yourself.
It's about holding on to that hope, even when it feels impossible.
And remembering you're never really alone, even when it feels that way.
These lyrics, man, the honesty, the vulnerability, but also that belief in the human spirit, they're inspiring.
They remind us, even when the world feels chaotic, there's still beauty, there's love, there's meaning to be found.
And maybe it's the journey itself that matters, not just the destination.
Exactly. So as we think about these lyrics, all the themes they bring up, remember, searching for meaning, for connection, that's a lifelong journey. It doesn't just end.
I was once so down, I was over and out, done with this life filled with doubt. Betrayed and crushed, I turned away to darkness as light faded to gray. I stood and faced death's cold hand, ready for my life to turn to sand. Watched the light of a train pass me by. It rolled away, leaving me not to die. You make a choice each day to live or die or to dwell. Pray to the Lord you live to tell.
Embrace the questions, the doubts, the uncertainties. That's where you grow.
Find comfort in knowing you're not alone in this. We all go through it.
So next time you're feeling lost, unsure, remember these songs, okay? Let the stories give you strength. Find comfort in the vulnerability, and let the hope inspire you.
Because there's a powerful message in these words.
Yeah.
Even in the darkest times, there's always light. You just got to be open to seeing it.
This deep dive, it's really given me a lot to think about. What about you? Anything stick with you?
You know, there's a line from Struggling Faith that keeps coming back to me. Walking in the shadows, looking for the light. It's like, even when you don't know the way, even when you're surrounded by doubt, just the act of searching for that light, it keeps you moving forward.
That's a good one. Well, on that note, we'll let you continue your own deep dive into all of this.
May these lyrics bring you comfort, guidance, whatever you need on your own journey.
I walk this path of life alone, complexly lost, the years have flown. I try to walk upright and strong, but I miss the strength to pull along. I walk the streets and see people like shadows walk by me. They walk alone like empty shells, searching their phones for tells for how their lives is to be.